Hey, it's Love Coach Heidi. Welcome back for another video. Normally, I talk about relationship stuff, but today I just felt, I don't know, I just felt a call. I felt pulled to do a video on sobriety and to talk about what motivates people to get sober or stay sober, and how can you motivate somebody to get sober and do they have to want it? I mean, all the questions that go on and on. And so likely you could be watching this video if you're somebody who's thinking about being sober or alcohol free, or if you have a loved one that you care about very much and you're racking your brain going, what's going to motivate them to change, to get their stuff together. So this month, as I'm filming this, and you could be watching this 10 years from now, but right now, today, this month, I have 10 years alcohol-free, sober. I didn't use traditional programs to do that. I don't work a traditional program. I never did. I also didn't go to treatment. So this is a caveat saying, I'm not an expert on how somebody should get sober. I know my way worked for me. There are many, 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 many roads to Rome. So what works for one person doesn't work for the next person. But I'm going to talk about today what gets you to even get started in the first place. For me, I had tried so many times, right? I had so many conversations in my head before I finally got sober. It was like, I'd wake up one day, I'd be like, that's it. I've had enough. Never, after a bender, right? Never again. Oh my God, that's it. And then I'd strategize. I'd be like, I'm just going to drink. I'm not going to pregame. I'm just going to drink when I go out. I'm not going to have all the shots before I go out, or I'm just going to drink wine instead of like the hard stuff. Or, I would like negotiate and try to strategize. And if you've done that, if you're at that point where you've been like strategizing how to drink so you can actually drink successfully, you probably got yourself a little problem on your hands. All right. It's not funny, but I mean, sometimes we don't even know, is this a problem? Well, honey, if we're strategizing how to drink successfully, it's probably an issue. But the morning that I decided to quit, I'd woken up from a particularly boozy evening, and I was a binge drinker, right? So I would drink bottles of wine, and sometimes I would pair it like it's a fine thing, fine dining, with Ativan or Xanax. And I would get really unconscious. And that was really the goal for me in my drinking, was to just check out, numb out. Anyway, I woke up one morning, and as I had done most mornings when I was in a relationship, I looked over at my partner to see how much shame I should carry, how much trouble I should be in for whatever I did. I couldn't remember. I blacked out. So I had no idea what I had done the night before. Absolutely no recollection at all. But I'd look at him to see how he would respond to me. And based upon how he acted, I'd be like, oh, okay, I should feel shameful. Or, oh, it was a good night. It must have been great. As one of my clients puts it, she didn't, pardon my vulgar language, but she didn't know, her husband didn't know if she was going to F or fight, right? It was like, fuck or fight. What are we going to get today? And that's how I was, like Jekyll or Hyde. But on this particular morning, I looked over and I knew it had been a particularly bad night. I had bruises. I had been not from him, but from falling down, right? Taking a bath and just falling all over the house. And I was like, that's it. Something snapped in me that morning. And I looked over at him and I said, that's it. I've had my last drink. Now, at the time, what motivated me in the moment wasn't necessarily like hitting a rock bottom, like, oh my God, my life is so terrible. I'm going to lose everything if I don't. I had a great boyfriend. I had a good job. I had money. I had all the things. It wasn't like that's a myth, right? We have to be like down and out or destitute for us to want to stop, or things have to be so bad for us to finally get it. And that wasn't the case for me. Actually, what made me want to stop drinking is finally, for once in my life, things were going pretty good and I wanted to stop fucking them up. Things were going pretty good. And I was like, you know what? I actually like this relationship. I'm actually feeling good inside of this dynamic. I actually feel supported. And sometimes I think that when we have things that are going well, we can run that risk of wanting to self-sabotage them. That comes later. But in the moment, for me, I started to like think about a life I actually wanted to be awake for. Sometimes when we're at our worst, when we do lose absolutely everything and there's nothing going on, where's the hope? Where's the motivation to get better? Because we can't, that's the tip I'm trying to tell you. In order for us, you don't necessarily have to want to be sober. Like, let's be real. Wouldn't it be better if we both had a couple cocktails right now? We're a little loosey-goosey. I mean, who wants to be dead ass sober all the time? right? Stone cold sober. That sounds like a good plan. No, I think the world, and I might be wrong, but one of my clients said hey, it would be nice to just walk through life with a 2-beer buzz. I don't know anybody that gets a buzz off of 2 beers. But whatever, but that buzzed state is a much easier state to walk through the world than a stone cold sober state. So I'm not quite sure we ever really want to be sober. Okay. But what we want is what's on the other side of sober. What we want is what's on the other side of sober. And at the time for me, the motivation came from imagining a life I could finally see it. I could finally taste, touch, get a little glimpse, a little flavor, a little tiny taste of the life that I was going to have on the other side of that binge. And it looked promising to me, and that was enough. That was enough. And so I'm not like everybody, right? You're not like everybody. So maybe pain is the motivator for you. Maybe the shit needs to hit the ever-loving fan for you to get a clue, right? For you to really be motivated, it needs to get real, real bad. Well, I have a secret for you. I want you to understand something. The push of pain will only get you so far. Because what is pain meant to do? Wear off. Pain is meant to wear off. And so that's not necessarily going to keep you motivated to stay sober. It might get you into treatment. It might be like, oh God, I can't wake up. And that was mornings for me. Okay. I woke up and I was like, I can't have another morning of like a walk of shame, waking up next to a stranger, God forbid, looking over, am I wearing clothes, checking to see. Hello. Okay. Checking to see like, where are you? You don't even know. How dangerous, right? How scary of a situation. So that shame or that pain or that guilt might motivate you in the moment to go, never again, I can't do it, and no more. I got to get my head on straight. But what happens after a little while is we start to forget that feeling of intensity. So that might push us into sobriety or might push us into just cooling out for a while or taking a break or whatever. After it wears off, if we don't have the second piece, we're screwed. And the second piece is the pull of purpose. The push of pain will get you started, but the pull of purpose will see you the whole way home. And the purpose is, who are you becoming on the other side of sobriety? Who are you becoming on the other side of that? And so if you're trying to motivate somebody else, how do you do that? How do you help them see the light? Well, you be the keeper of the light. You see in them what they don't see in themselves. You're able to see in them, wow, if you really get this, you're going to change people's lives. Why are you going through hell? So you can reach your hand down and pull out somebody else that's going through the same thing, right? So you be the keeper of the light. You see the possibility in someone when they can't see it. I know that's hard if you're dealing with an addict or an alcoholic, because all you see is the opposite. You see somebody failing. You see somebody wasting their potential. You see somebody hurting themselves, self-sabotaging, lying to themselves, lying to you, making their lives harder, making a hell of a potential heaven that they could have. And you think, well, how can I hold the light for that? Well, that's what faith is. Faith is believing in the unseen. Okay. So what we can do is say, hold that space and say, well, if everybody has the divine potential in them, if everybody can be the driver of their own fate in whatever capacity, then I'm going to hold that belief for you too. That if you choose to get on board with yourself, that you can accomplish anything that your heart desires, right? So if you choose to believe that, then be the keeper of the light for them. The other thing is, we think that what's going to help us start to be sober is what's going to keep us sober. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Okay. So I know for me, when I first got sober, I just wanted to stop waking up with shame. That was the push of pain. I just wanted to stop embarrassing myself. I wanted to stop apologizing for shit I couldn't even remember. Okay. What should I be sorry for today? That was like, what should I feel bad about? Okay. I wanted to get rid of the shame, but on the other side of that, I wanted to have a successful relationship that was alcohol-free, that didn't have the Jekyll and Hyde dynamic, that I wasn't like apologizing all the time and feeling bad, and that I could really be myself. So the first goal was to just have a successful relationship, just be in something sober, but then I mastered that, and he proposed, and we were together, and then I was like in the relationship, and that wasn't enough to keep me wanting to be sober. Motivation is a moving target. Motivation is a moving target. I don't know if somebody ever said that. maybe they did. It should be written down somewhere if it's not, because that's a good thing, right? It's true that it's changing. It's ever changing. After the first couple of years of getting sober, or the first year of getting sober, really, I got recruited to go teach at a drug and alcohol treatment center. So my motivation for sobriety became like, oh my gosh, I think I have a message. I think I can actually help other people. And there I taught for 8 years, helping other addicts, other alcoholics, other family members transform their lives and root down their own value and find their, ultimately, what are we doing? We're creating a life we don't want to fuck up. We're creating a life we want to be awake for. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're creating a life we don't want to fall asleep for. No, why do we want to not be sober? Is because we can't stand our lives. Okay. So getting in touch with the life that, what if you could create a life that would be so inspiring to you that you don't want to fuck it up? That's a reason to stay sober. Like, people would raise their hand. They'd be like, why do you want to be sober? They'd be like, I just want to be a productive member of society. And I'd be like, you're fucked. You want to be a productive member of society? Okay, well, that's like, oh, I just want to like pay my taxes and drive on the right side of the road. I mean, come on. That's not enough. That's not enough, because it's more intriguing and more interesting and more fun to be drunk than it is to be a productive member of society. Now, I'm not trying to like shame anybody that actually thinks that's your giant goal in life, but can I be real with you? I hope it's not. I hope you have something bigger planned for yourself. After I was a teacher and I was successful at that, at keeping people sober, what motivates me then to live this healthy lifestyle? Not just stay sober, but live a healthy lifestyle. Well, I have a daughter. And now I'm like carrying the legacy, and Lord knows I don't want to repeat that cycle. I had an alcoholic dad. I didn't want to run down that pattern. So my needs shifted again. And so how you start is not how you're going to finish, but you just need to start. And you don't have to all figured out. You either need to know what your push of pain is, what is so bad in your life. You get leverage on yourself, like every great teacher on the planet of the world has ever said, that you need to get leverage by associating pain or pleasure, right? What pain are you avoiding if you stop, or what pleasure are you going to get if you accomplish these goals? The push of pain or the pull of purpose. What are you avoiding? The bad stuff in your life, or who are you becoming in the process? I know that morning, it wasn't about rock bottom. It wasn't about my life is so bad, I needed to get better. It was like, hey, it's getting pretty good. I don't want to keep fucking it up. Maybe that's true for you too. Maybe you can find something good in your life, and you can like focus on that and say, what if I was fully present for this? What if I was fully awake? What if I didn't have a 2-beer buzz? What if I just decided to be here now all the way? What could happen in my life if I turn the lights all the way on? All the way on. I don't dim them just a little bit to be just a little fucking dumb, right? But I turn all my lights on. I know. There was a lot of profanity in this video. And normally I'd be like, I want to apologize, but I really don't, because I'm passionate about what I'm saying to you. And if an F-bomb needs to come out, and again, this is all part of it. It's like, I want to be sober because I want to be all of who I am. For me of being drunk was dimming, dumbing, and placating. It was playing small. It was being afraid to be fully who I was. It was being afraid of creating a life that I, was good for me. I was so worried all the time about what everybody else thought. We think, again, that we want to stop drinking because that's going to fix all of our problems. What happens is you get sober and your problems show up. You're like, oh my God, there's a problem, because you couldn't see them before because you were sleeping. So the point of being sober isn't to have a better life right away. I'm gonna get sober. My life's gonna be so great. When you're sober, you can see what you were medicating. When you were sober, you can wake up in your life and go, okay, what really needs to change? And for me, a lot of that needed to change with me being radically who I was. Stop apologizing for being the person girl, stop apologizing. I don't even want to go down that trail. I don't even want to go down that trail, but stop, be fully myself, be fully self-expressed. If you're curious about this at all, and you're like, okay, what happens if I actually am brave enough to be me? What happens if I'm brave enough to stop anesthetizing my life and putting myself to sleep and dimming my light? What does that look like for me if I show up 100%? Well, it looks like reaching out and figuring out what's the first steps to make that happen. All right. Awareness is we need to do something. The second step is take some action. So reach out to me. Go over to lovecoachheidi.com. Send me a message. Comment here. Tell the world, hey, I'm ready to shine. I'm going to stop dimming my light, because that's all you're doing is dimming your light. Right. And you deserve to be seen and heard and loved. And guess who needs to do it? You need to see yourself, hear yourself, and love yourself. So I can help you do those things. Go over to lovecoachheidi.com, check me out, and make sure you're subscribed over here as well, right? Send this video to anybody you know is just self-medicating. All right. I love you. Have a great day. Take great care of yourself. See you real soon. Bye-bye.